Welcome, Mike McMillan here, and today I am going to turn you into a ScreenFlow 10 power user. So if you're ready, let's get started right now. Okay, well, Telestream is the company that developed and sells ScreenFlow. I've got a link to Telestream in the description below this video in case you're interested in obtaining it. Okay, well, the two uses for ScreenFlow are for audio and video editing as well as for screencasting. And today, first, we'll look at how to use it to do audio and video editing. Now, when you open ScreenFlow for the very first time, this is what you'll see, a welcome screen. And there's some different choices off on the left. And today, the very first thing we'll do is look at opening a new document so that we can do some editing of a video that may be a video project that you've already shot. So what we'll do is come over here and we'll scroll down to New Document. And you can see over on the right, it says Preset, and there are probably 10 or 20 different presets where you could pick 720p or 1280 or 4K or any one of the settings they've got. But if you don't find a preset you'd like, you can just come in here and set the width, and I'm shooting a 720p video here today. So, you know, I would put in 1280 by 720 and then we'd be good to go. You can set the frame rate at 30, 60, whatever it is you usually use, and I usually use 30 frames per second. So when you're all done, you can come down here and click on the little document, or looks like a page down here, and you can click on that. And once you do that, then it will open a new document for you. I'll show you that in just a second. The other thing is if you already have ScreenFlow open, and you want to work on a new project, you can always go in the ScreenFlow menu at the top of the page. You can go to File, go to New, and that will bring you right back to this page right here. Okay, and then you could do new recording, new document, whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's see how this works. Well, I just opened up a new ScreenFlow document right here. You can see it. ScreenFlow, the interface has 4 different sections. This is our preview window, our canvas that we have up here. And this shows all the different tools that we have. There are more tools and settings other than these, but these are the main things you're going to be using up here. This is our timeline, and in our timeline there's a scrubber bar right here. Now I can't scrub and move this over because I don't have any video clips in there to work on to edit, but yeah. So now right here, one other thing you can do is you can come in here and hover right over this line with your cursor right there, and you can change how much room you've got in your timeline and squeeze this up or down. That's a good area right there. And the other thing you can do is watch what happens. I'm going to hit Command minus. See, I can change. I'm not changing the proportions, but I can change the size of my canvas. If I hit Command plus, it makes it bigger, and I like to have it so it pretty much fills up that top space right up there. Okay. The one other thing, this is called the inspector. This is the project inspector, this little rectangle thing here. If you click on that, what comes up, it shows you your canvas size that you've selected, 1280 by 720 pixels right there. And right here, this color picker, if you click on this, you can set your canvas color, the background color, to anything you want. But if you want a different color, you can have. I strongly suggest you go with white background by default. That's what it is, and leave it that way, and I'll show you why that makes a difference in a little while here. Okay, now before we edit a video, oh, by the way, anytime you come into this inspector, before any functions work or you can do anything, you have to click this green check mark and say that's the way that I want it. Okay, and then over here, one thing that I always do is I set up a folder. I call this ScreenFlow project, and if we look inside the folder, these are all things that I've pulled from different folders on my hard drive. Things that I think I might use, some video clips, some graphics that I built, some more videos, some screenshots and different things, so that as I'm producing my video, as I'm editing my video together, when I want those assets, they're all in one place. And it makes it much faster workflow. If you know where all your stuff is at that you might use in a video, it just makes it a lot easier to do. Okay, so let's get editing. All right, well, I just opened up this ScreenFlow document. It's a brand new blank document right here. And the first thing that I'll do is come in here. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. And remember I said I had a folder where I kept all of the things that I might want to end up using in this video. Now, I probably won't use all of these, and I may add some to it later, but at least they're all in one place for now. It makes it easier to find everything. So, to begin with, I'm going to come up here, and there's a video clip right here. I'm going to do a couple things with it. First, I'm going to drag this over to this section right here. Let me show you that. And this is called my media library right here. To see your media library, if you're clicked on any of these other tools, you can click right over here. And this just shows all the clips, the graphics, the screenshots, anything that's in your editing project will show up over in this window. Now, once it's in your media library, you can click on it and drag it anywhere in your timeline, just like this. And now you've got a video. And this is something I shot, well, quite a while ago, but yeah, if you just shot this today, whatever, you could bring this in here, and there it is. Now, I'm going to click on this, hit delete. I'm going to hit delete up here. Whoops. Let me get off this. Click delete right there. There's a different way you can do that too. Instead of dragging it into your media library, you could take a clip, a video that you shot that you want to edit, and you can drag it directly into your timeline. And when you do that, you can see that it shows up automatically in your media library. So here's our video clip right here. And you can see you can put it in any track that you'd like to. You know, you can move it up or down, that doesn't matter. And you can zoom in and out on your timeline. And we'll make this bigger, something like this, so that it shows up easier for you to see. Okay? Now, once you do that, again, up on top, if I grab this black bar right here, I can squeeze this down, and I don't need all that room in my timeline. I'll squeeze it down like this, and that gives me a good work size. Again, Command minus will make your work area, canvas area, smaller. Command plus will make it bigger, and you can use that if you'd like to. Now, once we do that, one of the things I like to do is to highlight this clip right here and come over here, stay in the same track. Don't go up here or down here. In this same track right over here, you can see a little up arrow and a down arrow. And if you click on this up arrow right at the top there, you can see what it did. It made this bigger. It made it taller. It shows up better. And we'll use this setting today because you'll be able to see a little bit better what I'm doing. But if you click the bottom arrow down here, that's normally how I would work on a project. If you click it again, it gets very small. And I generally don't do that because it's too small for me. So again today, let's come in and we'll click that 2 times. And now you can see what's going on a little bit better. So that's kind of handy. You might want to use those things from some time. Now, the next thing is let's talk about cutting and pasting, okay? And if you have, for example, in this clip, let me move my scrubber bar back here. There I am. I haven't edited this at all. I just shot this. I don't even know what it is, some time ago. And I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm just trying to get ready. I close my eyes, clap my hands a couple times. I'll tell you later why I did that. You won't have to do that, but the way I record, it's useful. So I come in, and then right about here, right about here, I'm still just goofing around, and right about here is where I start talking. Okay, right there. So what I'll do is highlight this clip, and on a Mac, all you have to do is hit the letter T. And if you hit the letter T, that makes a cut. wherever your scrubber bar is, that makes a cut. And you can see that I've cut my screen or my recording in half. I knew I have 2 clips now. And this part was me just goofing around getting ready. So I'll hit delete and take that out. So this is the clip I want now. If I move my scrubber bar all the way to the end, you can see that right there I'm done talking. So I'll hit T again. And now I'll hit delete and I'll take that out. So now this is the clip I want because I start talking right in the beginning and then right at the end it ends. So that's how you can cut a clip into as many parts as you want. You just highlight the clip, move your scrubber bar to wherever you want to make the cut, hit the letter T, and now you've cut that. Okay? And one other thing while we're here, let me move my scrubber bar out of the way. You can see how we have 2 different clips now. Okay, because I cut that. Now, anytime you do something in ScreenFlow, if you hit a Command Z, it will undo the last operation that you did. Okay? And you can see right there, I hit Command Z, and there's my entire clip again. Okay, so you can always go backwards. If you made a mistake, did something you didn't want to do, hit Command Z and it'll take you back 1 step in whatever it is that you did. So let's just take this, and I'm not going to cut this at the right place, but let's just make some cuts here. I'll hit T again. Let's take this out. So now we've got a little clip that we could use. Okay, and you know, there it is. Let me expand this out a little more. There we go. And now we've got it in the middle. It'll be a little bit easier to see. Okay, now you can also paste things in here. Okay, so for example, if I came into the middle of my clip right here and I cut it and I spread this out a little bit, oops, I spread it out a little bit, and then I come in and say, okay, I want to put something in the middle right in here. Well, I'm going to come again into this folder that I had, and I'm going to find something like this. This is a graphic. I think I made it in Photoshop. It doesn't matter, but that's just a graphic I made. And then I'm also going to bring in something like maybe this blue arrow. You can bring in clips or graphics or anything you've got, you can bring in here. So now I'm going to drag this little whatever it is, this graphic that I made, and I'm going to stretch it out just like that, and I'll put it right up here. And so now when my video plays, what's going to happen is I could be talking, and then suppose that there was something really important that I wanted to stress. Let me take this and whoops, let me take this graphic and stretch it out, make it a little bigger like this. Now don't worry about what I'm doing now. I'm going to show you how this works later, but I'm going to come over and put some text in here, and I'll show you how to do this later, but let me just do it quickly. Very important, okay? And again, don't worry how I'm doing this. I'll show you how to do this stuff later, but I'm going to make it say very important, and I'm going to make that text black, just like that. And then, excuse me, I'm going to put this in here. So this is going to say very important. So suppose I was talking, and while I was talking, something very important was going to come up. And now I've got this graphic in here, and it could run for a few seconds or as long as I wanted it to. This is just a simple example, but you could bring a graphic in as well as a video element. And then after it's done playing, you could go back and say the very important thing. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you this. This is kind of advanced, and I don't think you'll have anybody show you this in another video, but it's something that I use kind of frequently. And that is, I'm going to take this arrow, and I'm going to drag this arrow down in my timeline. You can see there's the arrow, okay? And, excuse me, then what I'm going to do is I think I'll come down here, and I'm going to take these clips, my original clips that I've got, and I'm going to move those down in my timeline and put this arrow up here. So now it says very important, and I'm going to take this arrow and I'm going to drag it over this way, and I'll stretch it out, make it a little bigger, and then what I'm going to do is grab this little handle. There's an X here in this handle, and in this case I want the arrow pointing this way, so I'll rotate it. That's how you can rotate anything in here. You can rotate a video clip, you can rotate a graphic, anything. Okay, so I'm going to move this arrow over. Now this is kind of cool. Again, I don't think you're going to find this in another video, but this is something cool you can do. Okay, so suppose I open the timeline up, make it even wider. Okay, now watch very carefully what I do. This is my arrow, and I'm going to take the arrow, and right now, see, it runs for about 5 or 6 seconds. That arrow's in there. But what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to squeeze this way down, so it's only about that big. Let me play it and see what happens. Okay, that's a little too much. Let me play this. Okay, good. So I have this arrow and it just lasts for a second. Okay, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hit Command C, and that copies that little clip, that arrow clip. Okay, Command C copies. That's a common Mac function. And I'm going to come over here, hit Command V, and that will paste it in right next to the original one. And I'm going to hit Command V several times and just keep pasting this arrow in. So now when it plays, it looks like that arrow's just staying there. Okay, but now watch what happens. I'm going to come over here and take the second arrow and hit delete. This one, hit delete. This one, hit delete. This one, hit delete. Okay, whoops, I missed it. Hit delete. And, I can take this one out if I want. And then this last one, maybe I'll make it a little longer. Now, let's look and see what happens. Because sometimes when you have graphics, you might want something that flashes like this. And it's going to light up here, and then it'll go away. It'll light up. It'll go away. Let's let this play. See how that makes that arrow flash? And you can do that to draw attention to a part of your video. It could actually be in a part of your video, or it can be an insert like this is. But that's a cool way to make something flash over and over and over again. Just keep that in your bag of tricks, because I think that you might find that very useful someday. Okay? So we're not going to keep that in here. That's not part of what we're going to be talking about, but let's take that guy out of there, and let's bring our clips back in, and let's shorten up our timeline so we can see the whole thing again, just like this. Okay, and I think what I'll do is come over and, whoops, I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. Make that bigger again, so it looks something like that. As a matter of fact, I think I'll drag these up, put them up there. Okay. So there are 2 clips that we have. Now, something else that can be, so I showed you how to cut and paste and clip. Another thing is sometimes when you're making videos like this, you may have another cut over here, something like this. And when you're making videos, maybe you've got a whole bunch of little clips that you've put together. Different videos, and you've imported them all. So you have something like this. Now, when you do that, sometimes it's useful. For example, if you have 3 different clips like this, it may be useful, let me get this back down, sometime to highlight all 3 clips. And maybe you've got to move them around into another section in the video or something. You can come up to where it says clip in the main menu. Okay, and there are a couple things you can do. You could come down to where it says group, and now it looks the same, but watch. I have grouped those clips together, so now they can move as one. And that might make it easier to move a whole bunch of clips from one part in your video to another part. You can also come back up to clip and do ungroup. And that's the way we were in the beginning. Now you can see that we can move them around separately. Now, something else you can do is you can come up here to where it says clip, and you can come down to where it says nest. Now this is different, okay? We can take that on there. Now I've got to find where it is. There it is. Okay. Now, see, when we did a group, we could still see all 3 separate clips, but they would move as one. Now, when we nest the clips, it looks like it's all one clip, and I can move this whole thing and move it further back, and you know, as I add other clips in or whatever I want to do. And then, of course, we can come back up and do unnest, and we get back to the way we were in the beginning. Okay? Here's something else. Sometimes you have some video clips you brought in, and you may have some spaces. Maybe you deleted something here, and you deleted something here. One thing you can do is click on the space. Anytime you have a space between 2 clips, now here you could just move them together. But if you had a whole bunch of these that you had edited different things out of, you can click between 2 clips and you'll get this blue area, okay? Or I could click over here and get a blue area there. If I hold the shift key down and I click here and then I click here, those are both blue areas like this. And now if I hit delete, watch what happens. Bang, it took all those spaces out I had and it moved everything together. And in big projects, big video editing projects, that can save you a ton of time. Okay, I'll hit Command C or Command Z again. Let's try this one more time. I hold the Shift key down. I click on a blank space. I click on a blank space. I hit delete, and it takes all those spaces out. So it's something kind of tricky that you might want to think about. Okay, now one other thing while we're down here, let me show you something. There are times when you may have a video clip somewhere and you want to, for example, right here, let's take our scrubber bar and watch what happens as my scrubber bar gets close to the end of this clip. Watch. See how it snapped? When I got close to the end of this clip, it snapped right to the end. And when I get over here, watch what happens. See how it snapped to the beginning of that clip? That snapping function is right down here, this magnet. If I unclick on this magnet and the blue color goes away, now if I do this, I disable the snapping function. So now if I want to make some very fine edits and I don't want it to snap right to the beginning or the end, I can take that out. Now I usually want that in there, so again I turn the snapping back on. Okay, now something else that's very useful, I don't think anybody else shows you this, is if you take a clip right here, any clip, and you want to move it, but when you try to move it, it kind of jerks. You know, it's hard to move it a frame at a time. And depending on how many frames per second you're shooting at, if it's 30 or 60 or whatever, it can get a little jerky. Watch what happens. I'm going to press the bracket key right up here, and I'm going to press the starting bracket key right here. Now watch what happens to this clip. It's going to move 1 frame at a time. Now watch this. Did you see that? I'm doing the first bracket clip, and when I click on it, I can move this clip 1 frame at a time. In case I want to really, that's called a nudge function. I'm nudging it. If I click the other bracket, I can move it 1 frame at a time in the other direction. And you'll see when you get into doing more advanced projects, being able to nudge like this is very, very useful. Okay? So yeah, kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so something else is, suppose that somewhere in here there's a little glitch or something happens. You want to go back and change something right at this point. Well, rather than making changes as you go, a lot of times it's helpful to come up here and go to Mark, Markers, add a marker right there, and I'm going to call this, I'll just call it 1, okay, create. And it doesn't, you can't see what's happened, but if I move my scrubber bar, whoops, let's do this. If I move this, you can see this is a marker right here, this little orange guy. And if I let this play, that marker stays there. And I can go back and look at the markers, and if I come back here and I double click on it, it says 1. I could name these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, but I can put markers in so that later I can say, hey, where was that point at? I wanted to cut something out, or I wanted to do something. So markers can be useful. And then you can also, anytime, just move your scrubber bar back to the marker, and if you want to take it out, markers, delete, and now that marker's gone. So that can be kind of useful. Again, let me take this, and I'm going to come up here to clip and go all the way down. See where it says label? I can change any clip. I can take any clip, come down to label, and I can label this, for example, I'm sorry, there we go. I can label it orange or blue or any color I want to. From, again, clips, I can make it this pink color, or I can make it the red, blue, yellow, whatever. And sometimes if you label your different clips different colors, it makes it easier to see them when they're next to other clips. I'm sorry. There, I see I've got one that's purple. I could make the other one orange, and then see, it makes it easier to see where your different clips are. Now, let's make some changes, okay? And I'll come up here to the video tab right here, and I'll click on that, and I'm going to highlight this clip right here. And where it says color controls right here, there are some different color controls, and we can change the saturation. When I look at my face, I don't want it like that, and I don't want it like that. I can leave it at about 100%. I might tune it down just a little to 85. The brightness, I can make it brighter or darker. You know, I might leave it something like that. And then the contrast, I don't play with that too much, but you can see what the contrast does. I would leave that right about at 100%. Well, here is the same little clip. It's a different section of it that we've been using today. But what I'd like to do is come in, and this is something new in ScreenFlow 10. It's kind of fun to use, and it can be very useful. So what I'll do is, when I look at this little video clip, okay, and right now, because I've got some different lighting systems, and I shot this using 2 stand-up LED lighting panels. And sometimes when I use LED lights, the way I use them, my skin tone comes out a little pinker than it really is, and I want to see if I can get rid of some of that. So what I'll do is come up here and make sure I've clicked on this video tab right up here in the corner, and once I do that, I want to make sure I've got the clip clicked and highlighted. So if it looks like this, you need to click on it, and then way in the bottom it says filters and effects, and there's a plus sign, and I'm going to click on that plus sign, and this is what you'll see. This is what comes down. These are all different filters that you can apply to make your video look in different ways. Now, if yours looks like this, see how they call this the Mars filter. Okay, it's just something they made up. All right. There are actually titles under each one of these, and they tell you what they do, but you may not be able to see those. And the problem is, just bear with me here for a second while we get this right. I'm going to come up to ScreenFlow Preferences and go to Preferences right there and see where this says System. Okay, under General Preferences, it says System. I want to click on this, and then it says Dark or Light. And right now, it's set in light mode. If I click on that, it's still light. But something different will happen in just a second. Let me move this around, and let me change this to dark mode, and everything will be darker, and then see what happens. right there. Now we can click off of preferences, and now you can read what all these are, and it shows up better. So I can scroll through these, and I can pick any of these and apply these. But down here there's one that says hue adjust right here, and I'm going to click on that and then click on add, and it hasn't done anything yet. But if I come down here underneath and I scroll down under filters and effects, it says hue adjust right there. Now watch what happens when I move this little circular slider. See, if I go this way, it makes everything way too green. Okay, way too green. Okay, and if I go this way, it makes it way too red. Now, it was very close to right here. That's a little too pink, and I'm going to go in the green direction, but not too far. It says 9. I want to get some of that pinkishness out of there. There. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, it's set at 20 degrees right there. Okay, so yeah, I'll do that. And I can use that hue adjust to change the hue of my character or the background or whatever I'd like to do. Okay, now let's try one more filter just for the fun of it. Well, let's talk about in this final sort of mini section in the section about how to remove a background from a video clip or a section of a video. So to do that, let's come in here. I dragged 2 images in here to my media library. One's just a red graphic, and the other is a girl's face who looks surprised, happy, whatever. And I'll just take this red graphic and I'll bring it in here, just kind of put it in the middle of my timeline, and let me stretch that out a little bit so we can see it better. And I'll take this girl's image down here, and I'll do the same thing. I'll put that down here. I'll drag that out a little bit. When I move my scrubber bar over here, you can see that the girl's face is covered by my red graphic, and the reason that's that way is because whatever's on top in your timeline is what will be in front in your project, your editing project. So to get the girl's face in front, I could drag it down underneath there. Now let me drag these both up in my timeline so we can see them a little better. So now I've got the girl's face and I've got the red background. So with the red background, I'm going to take this red background, move it up into the corner, and I'm going to drag one corner and make it bigger like this. And then I'll push my shift key and grab this side little button here and drag it across, and I'm just going to stretch it out so it fills my whole canvas area, just like that. Okay? And now I can take her face and drag that over to the side so it looks just like this. And this would be, this could be cool. I could put some text in here. I showed you how to put text in. You could make it say something if you want to. But what I'm going to do is just click on her face right there, okay, and come up to the video tab on the top, and then come down to where it says filters and effects. I already showed you how to use this, but I'll click the plus sign, and here's all the different filters we can use. But there's one that says background removal, and I'm going to double click on this, and when I do, watch what happens to her face. There. See how it took that white out from the background? It took the background out, but it left her face there, and it worked really well. So that's something you can do with an image like this. If you have 2 images and one is a face or something, you can take the background out. Now this, the simpler the background is, the better it works, but it pretty much works really, really well with static images like screenshots or graphics or something. It is supposed to work with videos. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't work so well with videos, but you can try it with video clips to remove the background image behind a person standing there talking or doing something. Okay, well, this is kind of fun. I like working with text, and what we'll do for the next few minutes here is just show you some things that you can do with text inside of ScreenFlow to jazz up your videos that you're working on just a little bit. So to begin with, here's a new ScreenFlow document, and what I am going to do is come up here to this T right here, this text tool, and I will click on that. And when that comes up, I need to click on this plus sign or this down arrow. They do the same thing. Click on this, and it says, do you want to make a title or some text? And I want to make some text, okay? So what happens is, every time you do this, it will always pop up with some like a holding place unit thing with some text, and it'll always have white text saying text and then a black backdrop to it. Okay, so the first thing is I like to come in here and click on the down in the timeline, click on it, or click up here, and you can see right here that you can change the fonts and the sizes, the alignment, all this stuff. So to make it show up a little better, let's come down and let's make this really big text like this. Okay, that'll be easier to see. And then the next thing I like to do is decide on the color of the text I want. And it says fill. So I'll click on this color picker icon here, and you can see that I can make that purple. That doesn't show up good with that black background, but we'll take that out in a minute. Or I could make it orange. Let's make it yellow. Okay, that shows up pretty good for right now. And then what I like to do, you can sometimes, even in this video, I keep that black background depending on where I'm putting it, but I generally take that out. And down here it says backdrop, and I'm going to uncheck that. So now I've got this yellow text. Now that doesn't show up well at all, does it? Okay, we can barely read it. But again, if I click on this or click on the text block up here, you can come up and where it says outline right here, it says outline, and if I click on that, that gives me a nice black outline around my text. And you can also change how thick that outline is with this slider bar. And that's like way too much, but you know, maybe something like that could work. So, you know, that's something else you can do. Now, up here, you can also click on this B and make the text bold, okay, like this. You can make it in italics, like this. We'll take that out. We could leave it bold if you want to. But those are some things you can do up there on top. We'll come back up here to this alignment in just a second, but I want you to look at this where it says kerning right here, and see where it says AB, this very first little icon here. Watch what happens. Kerning is the spacing between letters in a sentence or in a word or whatever. Watch what happens when I click on this first AB thingy right over there. See how that tightens it up? It tightens up the text, and that gets too crowded. That's uncomfortably close. But you can click on the AB on this side, and that applies a kerning function to it, and you can spread the text out if you ever want to do that. Okay, and then also right in here, this is probably very difficult for you to see, but there's a circle here with an X inside of it right there, and then there's a handlebar out here, and you can click this. As a matter of fact, you can use this to rotate it, but if you're doing a really small rotation, you can actually take this handlebar and drag it out a long ways. Then you have a lot more small control over it. It's easier to rotate it a little bit. I'm going to hit Command Z and go back to the way that it was, just like this. Okay, so you know, you can do that. Now, while we've got our text up here, let me come back up here to our pencil tool right here. And I'm going to click on that and click on the plus sign to activate that. And what that's going to let me do is make like a text block, not a text block, a block that's filled with color, or just an outline block, an outline circle, a freeform tool. But what I want to do is click on this second one, or this makes a straight line. Click on the second one, and I'm going to take this color picker and just, I don't know what color I would want to use here, but say this light blue color, okay? And I'll close this down. And then what I'll do is just come up here. You have to use this tool, you can't start outside of your canvas area. It won't work out there, but you can just draw a block like this, okay? And then once you do that, I'll click off of that. Once you do that, you can drag this off and you can go outside of the canvas area if you want, just to make sure that you get the whole canvas colored with that blue. Now, what happened to our text? Okay, it looks like it disappeared. Well, it didn't disappear. You can see down here, whatever's in the top of your timeline down here will show in front in your canvas area. So that we can see our text, we'll have to grab this blue that we made and put it down below the text. And now you can see that the text is there. And, you know, if you wanted to have something like this someplace in your video, you could do something like that. Or it doesn't even need to be that big. You could come in and drag this. By the way, if you grab these handles on the corners, it stretches or makes bigger or smaller proportionally. If you grab on the side and hold down the shift button, you can drag it in and just change the size on one side, like I did right there, okay? Or I could grab this one on the bottom, hold down on the shift, and drag up. And, you know, maybe in my video, I just want this thing to be, you know, someplace on my video, something like that. Okay, so let's get the blue out of there, like that. Whoops. My mistake. Let's get the blue out of there. Okay, so we just got our text. And then let's come in, highlight the text, and let's make this a little smaller. Let's come back up here. Get our text tool. Instead of 288, I'm going to set this at 144. And by the way, if you don't like any of these sizes, if none of these sizes are just right, you can come in and just type in whatever size. Like I could type in 135, and that would make it, you know, like that. So yeah, that outline with the smaller text is too much, so I'll take that back a little bit. Okay, so let me come in and I'm just going to retype something and say, hi, Mike, here, how, whoops, how, and I'm going to hit return right here and try to spell that right. It may take me a while. How are you? Okay, and now I'll show you why I'm doing this. How are you today? Okay, and I'll hit return right here. Okay, and let's move this over. I just want to show you this alignment tool because right now, see how it's all aligned along the left? We would say this is left justified. If you click on the one on the right, right here, it will justify it to the right. It will line it up on the right. And I don't use that very often, but a lot of times I'll use this and center justify it right here so that the text is all centered by each line. Okay? Good. So let's move this over here, get our scrubber bar into place in there. Okay, well, one other thing that's kind of useful is to come in and click on your text down here in the timeline, or you could just click on it up here in your canvas area, either in the timeline or in the canvas area up here. And see way down at the bottom it says build in animation. And what we're going to do is I'm going to click on this box and it will build an animation automatically for us. So if we come over here, this is a play button. Let's see what happens when we click on this. So if you wanted a graphic to pop up between sections in a video you're making, you could use something like this, and you might have it say like section 1 or part 1, part 2, part 3, and use an animation like this to spice your text up. Now, if you click on this arrow over here, it brings up all the parameters for that animation. You can make it do different things. For example, let's play it one more time. Now watch this. See what it looked like? Let's click on this duration button right here, and we can come across. Now watch what happens. Okay, see how it comes in much, much slower now? You can change the speed of that animation with that slider right there. Okay, but not only that, because you can also come in and it says by line, it says build by line, And if you come in and instead of by line, you could have it say by character. And what happens when you do that is instead of coming in line by line, it comes in letter by letter. See, it looks like we're typing it. Okay, so you could do something like that. And instead of, like right here, it looks kind of like a clock, and see this black mark on the side. If we change that to the top, now the animation is not going to come in from the left, but it'll come in from the top. Okay, and look like that. Or if we do it by line, it would look like this. See how the lines drop in from the top. So yeah, that's kind of interesting, and that's something that you might want to try. Okay, well, there's just one more thing in text that we could take a look at. I don't know if you would use this. It can be helpful, though. So I've got a text block. I just created this. I made some green text. This font is called, I don't remember what it is. It's called Marker Felt. If I line this Marker Felt, there's the size. I've got it aligned left. It's a green color. I've got an outline on it. So I took some time to get this just the way I wanted it. Okay, now up here, you may notice this cube right here. If I click on this cube, let me delete that, take it out of there. Okay, if I click on this cube, then I can click on this plus sign. These are called style presets. And if I click on the plus sign, and I click on it one more time, it says Untitled New Style. And let's just call this green. Okay, so yeah, let's just call that green right there. Okay. And then what I can do is, suppose that I come back here, let me delete that text and let me put some new text in there just very quickly. And suppose, hi, I'm Mike. Okay, I'm just going to put some text in there very quickly. And then I come up here and I'm going to take the backdrop out. I'm going to highlight the text, and let's get it all in there, and let's make it some color where we can see it. We'll just make it black, sort of let's make it black. Okay, so it looks like this. Now, here's the thing. Suppose that I really like that text that I made just a few minutes ago, and what did I call it, purple or whatever I called it, we'll see in just a second. But I really like that, and I don't want to have to go through and set all those parameters again every time I want to use that for a headline or something in my video. So I could come back in here, highlight my text, come back in here to this cube. Oh, it was green, wasn't it? Remember, I made a preset and I called it green. So if I want to go back and use that same font, the same size, the same color, the same outline thickness and everything, I can click on this green and see what happened? It remembered that for me. So during the course of this video, anytime I come back up here and I click on this green, it will remember the font, the size, the color, all those asset things, and then keep that in mind. So we can try it again. Here it is. Hi, I'm Mike. That's what I typed in. We'll click on the green, and it brings in all those characteristics in that font that I made that preset for right here. You can have as many presets as you want. You could have like some titles, subtitles, you know, things like that. But that's how you do that. That's how you work with text in ScreenFlow. Okay, take it, use it, and have fun with it. Well, in the last section, I showed you how to use text and do things with text. And I said if you come up here and click on this plus button under the text tab, I showed you how to work with text up here. But there's also a thing called title, and that's pretty cool. There are all these different headline graphics that you can use. And if you hover over any one of these, it shows you what it does. And for example, let me just click on this one. You could pick any of these. I'll double click on that. And where it says headline right here, I can change this and say something like be careful. And then I can change the font to anything I want. I'll leave it with that font. And then there's a subtitle, and I can change that and make it say see this. Okay. And we can make these, we can change the colors of any of these, like the very first one. or blue or any color that we want to. What was that? Orange, I guess. We can just leave it like this. Okay, so it looks like this. And then up here, you can change the size of these. See, and make that bigger like this if you want to. You don't have to, but something like that. And we'll close that down, and then we'll click on Add. Okay, and once we do that, then we come in here and see what it does. And you could make this come up anywhere you'd like to on your page, on any clip that you have. Now you can also come in here, and if I grab this, if you want to make it bigger, you can just excuse me, drag it out and make it bigger so it shows up bigger than that. Okay, and you can also come down here and you can change the length of this so that it takes longer, it stays on the screen longer, something like this. And then it will stay on the screen a little bit longer and then go away. So that's how you can use those headlines. It's kind of a neat effect. All right, well, let's talk about doing green screen effects in your videos using ScreenFlow 10. Okay, now the keys to doing green screen, good green screen work include having a green screen, of course, and having good lighting. And I'll show you how this works in just a second. Now, I need to tell you that if you've never done any green screen work, I have a video all about this, how to set up your lighting, how to set up your screen, and do all this, because it can be frustrating if you don't set things up properly. So you can check that out in my channel. I've got a link to it in the description below this video too. But for today, we're going to assume that you shot a green screen video, and I'll show you how to edit it right in here. Okay, let's take a look at that. Well, this is my project folder that I showed you earlier, and let's open this up. And inside we have all of these different assets that I put in there that I said I might want to use later. So let's just pick one here. There's one down here, it says green screen right there, and let's pick that and drag it right down here into our timeline, just like that. So what I did right here is I'm just standing in front of a wall, and I've got a green screen up behind me. It doesn't look very fancy. You can see some of the corners of my lights in here, but we're going to take all that out of there. So yeah, and to get rid of all of the crud that I've got in here, I'm going to click on Option, and then I'm going to drag this side in so that you don't see the lights. You don't see anything else in there. All you see is me and the green. Okay, just like that. And I might crop this up a little bit so it's about like that. Okay, so it looks something like this. Okay, now I'm going to come into video, the video tab right up here, and we're going to come down to where it says video filters right there. Okay, and I'm going to have to put this back into the black mode so we can read these. There we go. Now it'll show up better. And this says Chroma key. Chroma key means green screen effects. Okay, watch what happens when I double click on this. Double click on it and see what it did. It took all the green out from behind me. Now it's not perfect right now. See, I've got some crud in there. I've got a little green in my hair, but you can come in here, and what you want to do is click on this color picker, and I want to try to find the same color green that was on my screen. Okay, and that looks pretty good right there. Okay, so now what we've got is you can play with, there's a white clip adjustment you can make. Okay, I'd keep it all the way over there. I think there's a tolerance thing, you can play with that. You know, that's not bad right there. The angle, again, you can play with these things and get them, you know, just the way that you like it. And I'll clip on my timeline, and now you can see me talking, but I took the background out. Okay, see what I did? I took that background out. And when you do chroma work with a green screen like this, the other thing that you can do is come in, and let me just take something, it doesn't matter. Here's a, take this one. Go to my media library, and I'm going to take this picture. It's just a picture of a window with some flowers outside, trees outside, something like that. And I'm going to drag this in here. Now, I want to be in front, so I want to put this picture down below me. Okay, and I can stretch this out and make it the same width as my screen. Now look what that did. And if I click on this image right here, let me make this smaller. If I click on this window image, I'm going to drag it out so it covers my whole screen. Okay, now look at this. Look what happens when this plays. It looks like I'm standing in front of that window, doesn't it? I'm not. I can put any background in there that I want once I've adjusted that chroma setting in there. And I could take this out. I could take that out, and we could bring in, it doesn't matter. I've got a blue background right there, and I could bring this back up and use that blue background, drag that in, put it in there behind me. And again, I would need to stretch this out. It doesn't cover the whole thing, so I'll just stretch that out and make it bigger so it covers the whole canvas. And again, now when I play this, it looks like I'm in front of that blue background, but I'm not. I'm in front of the green screen. But that's what a green screen effect can look like, and it can be a lot of YouTubers use this. It's a very, very, very powerful tool. So you might want to think about that. And I guess that yeah, just like that. Move it over just a little bit more. Okay, something like that. And that's how you do green screen work, and it's very, very useful. I'll say. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, well, the last special effect I want to share with you is what's called a callout. And a callout is exactly what it sounds like. And here's a page. This is some HTML code I wrote for a page that I was creating for something. And it doesn't matter what it is, but suppose that I wanted to show somebody this page in a video, and I'm showing them how to write some code to do some certain things. So I'm going to pick this item right here, this line 255 and 256, and maybe I want to talk about what that code means, what it does, and why I put it in there. So okay, so to make a call out, it's easy to do. You can come up here to this call out tab right here, the one with the arrow in it. Just click on that, and then click on the video where you want to have the call out, the clip you want to have the call out in, and where it says action, just click on that. It tells about it. You can close that down. But you can use a mouse cursor where it lights up wherever your mouse is. I like to use this freehand cursor here, and see, you can have a round one or a square one. I like the square one. So then basically what you do is you come in, and I forget which line of code it was we were looking at, but let's say it's this one, and I can highlight that thing that I want people to be able to read when I'm talking about it, and then I can come in and zoom up and make it as big as I want to. I can make it fill the whole screen. Now it's really easy for them to read that. And I could change, for example, the opacity of the background, so that's pretty bright, but so they can still see what I'm doing. I could do something like that where it kind of fades it out a little bit, but my call out is still good, and you can blur that. I wouldn't want to do that, but yeah, and then so you can zoom up and zoom down. You can do all these different things to it, but that's what a call out does. So what that does is when this plays right here, it'll come across, and there's the call out, and now I could talk about that and say, hey, this code, this is why I wrote this is what it does. And you can actually drag the call out and make it as long, make it last as long as you want to. You know, and now I could come in and talk and just say, here's why I typed this in here, here's what this code does, blah, 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 blah. And it gets to the end, and then wherever, as far out as I've dragged it, it gets to the end, and then that disappears, okay? So that's how you can use a call out to enlarge areas on your screen where you've got a video and you want to zoom in and show people, you know, what you're doing there. Okay, good. Well, let's talk about doing some animations. Now, we did some text animations with the built-in text animation feature earlier, but you can do animations with video clips, with graphics, or with text, with anything. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to come in here, and this is just a clip of me. I'm just talking right here, and I've disabled the sound so that I don't have to try to talk over myself. Okay, yeah, and it just looks like that. Okay, so basically, and you can see this is if I move this over. I was standing in front of a green screen here, and I took the green out, so I've got a transparent background behind me, but you don't have to do that. You could be standing up against a wall. You could be standing outside, sitting at a desk, whatever you want to do. But I used a green screen to get the transparent background here. So now what I'm going to do is come in, and I'm going to click on my video clip. That's me right there, okay? That's the video clip that I clicked on. And I'm going to move my scrubber bar anywhere in here. Let's say right here. And I've got a funny look on my face. I always have a funny look on my face, but yeah, okay. Let's go right here. Now, what I'll do is come up here. See, these are all our different effects that we can use up here. I'm going to click on this one. It looks like a stopwatch. There's a little arrow circle going around it, and it looks kind of like a clock. Okay, and it says video motion. I call those animations, but it's a video motion we're doing. So I'll click on the action right there, and see right here this yellow area that popped up. That is going to be my animation. Now, I know from experience that half a second right here is way too short a time. That'll be too fast. So I'm going to change this and make it say 2 seconds. Okay. Now, there are effects. You can play around with those if you want to, but we're not going to do that. Okay. And then, okay, I had this right at the start of my animation. This is what I look like right here. So I'm going to move my scrubber bar to the end of that animation right there, the end of that yellow area. And what I want it to do then is right here, I want this to shrink down and get smaller, maybe something like this. And I also want it to move over, shrink it a little more so that I'm right there. Okay? Now, let's see how this animation works. Let's go back to the beginning, and we'll play this, and make sure that you watch when we get out here to where this animation is, this yellow area. Watch and see what happens. Okay? So let's let this play. I'm just talking here. Here comes the animation right there. And see what that did? I'm still talking, the video's still playing, but now it squeezed it down into the corner just like this, and it took 2 seconds for that to happen. That's how I had it set. So that's how you could do an animation. Now, why might you want to do that? Well, it gets me out of the main frame down into the corner, and I could come over here and let's create some text and do the same thing with some text up here in the corner. And I could come up here, let's make some text up here, and I'll highlight this text. Let's keep it white, but let's get that background backdrop out of there. And then let's outline the text so it shows up a little bit better. And I'm going to make this a little bigger. It says 96 right now. Let's make it say 120, like that. Okay, and then I'll come in here and let's make our text say how to, let's make it say what? How to use analytics to improve your rankings. Okay, something like that. Okay, I'll put some dots after it. And then, whoops, I'm sorry. And then I think I'll take this and I'll just move it over like that. Okay? Now let's do the same thing, but this time let's click on, let me find where that text came in at. It's way up here. Let's move it down here so we can see all this. And let's put this in here, but I'm going to move this over to where this animation comes in, and that animation starts going down there. I'm out of the way right there, so let's move this, let's move this over here, and right here let's make another animation right there, and we'll put an action in there. Again, let's make this say 2 seconds, just like that, and I'll hit tab or return just to set it in there. Okay, so now we've got this. So at the start of this, now this one's kind of tricky because we're going to do something a little different. At the start of this animation, I want this, whoops, there we go. At the start of this animation, right there, here, let me click on this. Okay, at the start of this animation, excuse me, I'm going to move this way over here like that. So it doesn't even show up, it's off of my canvas, okay? And at the end of this animation, I want it right there. So it moves in. So now let's see what happens when we let this play. Okay, we'll start right here. Here comes the video animation. I'm going to shrink down, and then that's going to slide in from the side. And now I can talk in there, and I can actually, if I take this and stretch it out and take that animation and stretch that out, whoops, stretch it out about that far. Now you can see that when this plays, okay, there I go, I'm shrinking down right there, and then that text comes in from the side just like that, and I can be talking and have that text up on the top. So I did a video animation and I did an animation using that text. Okay, so that's how you can use animations to make things move around anywhere you'd like on your screen. That's a handy tool to have in your tool bag when you edit your videos, okay? Good. So the first thing I always do is I click on this, okay? And once I click on this, I come up to Clip, and I go to Detach Audio right here, and what that does is it separates the audio portion of your recording. Everything, a DSLR camera, an iPhone, or anything has an audio and video component to the recording that you make, and this separates the video portion and the audio portion. Now I'm going to come down here and click on this plus button to make that bigger so it shows up a little better. Okay, now one other thing, and let me come over here. I'm going to move this over into this region. And the reason I want to do that is because right here, if you look at this very carefully, there's a little red peak here, and there's a little red peak down here. And that means that that noise is so loud that it's clipping it. And it ruins or can ruin the dynamic range of your audio. So when this plays, I want you to watch this recording monitor up here, which should be green always. And when we hit this red part with these peaks, watch what happens to this playback monitor right up here. Let's watch it. Here it comes. If you're ready to begin, I know that see that red right there? That red indicates that clipping is going to occur right there. Well, if you're ready to begin, I know that see that red? Clipping will occur there. And you never want to have any clipping at all in your recordings, okay? So there's some things that you can do, that you can try. And one is you can come in here, let's go back up to the beginning in here, and this doesn't always work, but you can try this. It says smooth volume levels, and if I click on this, what it does is it smooths the levels out so they're all more in line with each other. Okay, now sometimes when you do this, you may have clipping occur in several places because it'll boost the low signals up and it may not work well. It worked pretty good right here, but I can come up here. This waveform shows that the volume is pretty loud right now. that I am, and I'm excited. So I would probably come up here to the volume, excuse me, and take it down a little. That looks like a good volume level. And I know that I am, and I'm excited. There's no clipping going on. Sound comes out really good. So keep that in mind, this smooth volume level. And we'll leave it on for right now, and we'll leave the remove background noise. Okay? So those are two quickies, two quick things you can do to improve the sound of your audio portion of your recordings. Now, some other things, there's a lot more you can do. And you can come over here to where it says audio filters, click on the plus sign. These are all Apple different audio filters that you can use, any of these. Now I don't have the time to go through and show you each one and show you what each one does, because that would turn this into a 3 or 4 hour video. But let's come back up here. We could look at, what do I use? Sometimes I use this graphic equalizer, graphic EQ right there, and I'll click on that, go to add. And now when I scroll down, oh my gosh, you see this whole big thing. And what this is, it shows all these different frequencies. This is the lowest frequency, 20 hertz or 20 cycles per second. That's the lowest frequency a human ear can pick up, give or take a little bit. And these would be low bass sounds, okay? These would be the highest sounds the human ear can pick up, about 20,000 hertz or 20,000 cycles per second. That's kind of hard to work with because there's so much stuff in there, but you can click on this show button. And then this shows graphically that all these are set right now along this horizontal line. And you can take any one of these. And if I do this, it will take some of the treble, the high-pitched sounds out of there. Not a lot. Changing one of these does a little, but not a lot. But let me just show you so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If you come into this equalizer and don't click on the dot, just click on the line it's on, and then come over, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. Click on this line, and it will highlight all of the ones that you've selected. So now if you pick any one of these, you can make the treble sounds go way down or go way up. For example, if I move them way up here, that's not going to sound good, because when I play this now, I'm going to have too many high-pitched sounds. And I know that I am, and I'm excited about this, so welcome. See the distortion I'm getting? That's way too much. I can move it down. Again, if I move it down too far, that will distort it. Again, I know that I am, and I'm excited about this. That's a little too much bass in there, but you can play with these, maybe move that down just a little bit. And I'm excited about this, so welcome. That's not too bad. You could do the same thing at any portion of this equalizer. I could pick this area here. Could make the bass go way up. That will not sound good. Again, I know that I am, and I'm excited about welcome. That's too much bass, and I'm getting a little hum in there. If I take the bass way out, down, it's going to be a high-pitched. I am, and I'm excited about this, so welcome. I don't like that. But you can play around with these, and you can equalize the volume at these different frequencies, just like I did, and you can come up with some, whoops, I guess I missed some of these, but here, let me get out of here. And let's go back to close to the way we were right here and get back. But you can play around with this equalizer, and it can make a big difference in the sound that you get. Okay, so we'll take that out of there. Again, I can't do all of these. If I click on this again, we could look at some more of these. There are, just all kinds of different things. This thing, it says Apple AU low pass, and a low pass filter. Let me show you what that does, just so you can see this. Again, there are all of these different things, just 2 different things, but I can do show. A low-pass filter will let the lower frequencies go through and filter out some of the higher ones. You can see right here, these frequencies right here, it's taking them out. And the more I move this back, the more of these higher frequencies it's taking out. So when I play this,
that I am, and I'm excited about this.
See, it's muffled, it's muddy, it's mucky in there because I don't have the high frequencies I need. If I bring it back just to something like this,
I am, and I'm excited about this.
That might make it a little better. I could play with this. I could move it back over a little bit more.
I'm excited about this, so welcome.
If I come way back here, now it's going to be I can peak this up. It's going to be so muffled we won't hear it probably.
I know that I am.
Yeah, I got way too much bass and no treble. So, but that's just another one of these filters that you can use. So those are just some examples. Let me get this out of here. And this low pass filter, let's take that out of there. And the graphic equalizer, we'll take that out of there. And
I'm excited about this, so welcome.
So those are just some of the filters you can use. Like I said, you'll have to play around with those, but you can do miraculous things with these Apple filters in editing your videos. So play around with some of those. Probably find some that you like. Good. Let's talk about how to do a screen recording using ScreenFlow. Very, very simple, easy to do. Just take a second to show you here. But basically, I have ScreenFlow opened up, and in the top menu up here, in the top ScreenFlow menu, you can come to File and go to New right there. And when you click on that and go to New, this page will open up. And right here, you can see I have it checked off for built-in display. Built-in display means it's going to record exactly what's on your screen. Okay, so you would want that set up. And then with the microphones, I have selected, there's different microphones in there. My Blue Snowball mic, that's what I've been using today. So I picked that microphone. It will record then whatever my microphone picks up. And when you're all set to record whatever's on your screen, you can click on the red button down below. And when you do that, once you click on the red record button, you'll get something pop up on your page, on your screen, that looks like this. It says preparing to record, and you'll get a countdown timer. It'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then this image right here will disappear, and then you're recording. Okay, and also note that up here it says press Command Shift 2. There are different ways you can stop your recording, but if you press Command Shift 2, that will stop your recording. Okay, and you'll have your screen recording. So basically, just to show you how this works, I've got let's see, where is it? Right here. Let me just show you this. This is a book I wrote. You can see the title on it, copyright 2013. That's 10 years old, but it's still a great book, and I give this away sometimes in different places, and people really like it. Concise Guide to Writing for Internet Marketers. This is a PDF file right here. And basically, you know, we're not going to read through this whole thing, but I've got a table of contents in there. And it just has writing tips for people that write blog posts or make websites, or, you know, how to do effective writing and use proper grammar and punctuation and, you know, things like that. So, yeah, and you can see I've got a bunch of different things in here. And if I scroll down through that, it's recording. I'm recording this right now, I know. So it's just some different things about how to write effectively using, you know, different problem word pairs that people get mixed up with and things. So it's kind of a neat booklet, and yeah. So let's stop our recording now, and I am going to come up here and see this little button right up here. I can click on that. If I click on that, I can go to stop recording, or what I guess I'll do that. What I could do is go to Command Shift 2, and that will stop the recording too. So let's stop our recording and see what we've got. Okay? Okay, and you can see right up here it says Untitled 2. That's the recording. That's my recording right there. And so that's my screen recording that I just made. And I stopped the recording. And then you could go in and, you know, edit it using the techniques that I've showed you, how to edit videos and audio portions and all of that, and you'll be all set. So that's all there is to making a screen recording, and yeah, I think you'll have fun with that. Okay, good. Okay, well, let's take a minute and talk about what we call multi-app recording. This is a new feature in ScreenFlow 10. It's very useful. And you can now record multiple cameras or microphones simultaneously. So, for example, you can always activate any of these things, like your built-in display. I'll show you how to check that, and that will record exactly what's happening on your screen if you don't want to do that. You can record using your built-in microphone on your Mac, and you might get better sound with an external microphone, but you can do that. That could work well. You could record your FaceTime camera, so if your Mac is pointed at you, just like when you FaceTime somebody, you could use that built-in camera and do that. Or computer audio, so if you're playing a game on your computer, or you've got a video clip on there of a sporting event, something outdoors, music, something like that, any sound coming out of your computer, you could record that anytime. But you can also record external cameras, a DSLR camera, an iPhone, an iPad, maybe a webcam, external microphones. Maybe you've got a shotgun mic set up, or a little mini mic plugged into your iPhone or something, anything, desktop mic. But to record things like this, external cameras and mics, they need to be connected to your computer in some way. And of course, the easiest way is to run a cord from, say, your iPhone to the USB port, a USB port on your Mac. And to do that, you can use your charger cable and pull the plug off the end, and you'll have an ISB plug on one end and the plug that goes into the charger port on your computer. So yeah, they need to be wired in before they can be activated. So to make this work, to do a screencast with ScreenFlow, you would just go to your main menu in your Finder and go down to New, and click on New. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you click on New, this page will pop up, and you want to make sure it's clicked on New Recording right there. Okay, and as soon as you do that, this page will pop up, and it gives you options for exactly what you want to record. Now, these are grayed out because I haven't activated them, but I've typed in blue text here where you can see, just to make it show up easier, because that grayed out may be hard to read. So it says built-in display, computer audio, iPhone, blue snowball, and there's a plus sign at the bottom, and if you don't see something that you've got connected to your computer, you can click on that and it'll show up anything that's connected to your computer, and you can go with that and add that in there if you need to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I came through and I clicked on the built-in display, so I'm going to do a sample recording for you. It's going to record exactly what's on my computer screen, okay, and then I'm going to shoot with my iPhone. I've got my iPhone set up on a tripod, and I've got it wired from the iPhone into the a USB port on my computer, and I've got a blue snowball mic. Now, I could use the sound from the iPhone, but it's several feet away. It may be very faint, and I could boost it, but I'm going to record the audio with my blue snowball mic. Okay, and so that's what I'm going to do, and that's the way it'll look. And once I get this set up, there's an eyeball next to the iPhone, and if I click on that and I have it pointed at me and wired in, it'll show, you'll see on your iPhone exactly what it's going to be recording. If you move your hands, move around, or talk, you'll see that motion on your iPhone screen right there, just to preview, what's going to be going on. And with a blue snowball mic, or any mic that you plug in, you can click on the eyeball, and that'll give you a monitor showing you the volume levels, and you'll know whether you should move the mic farther away or talk softer or louder or whatever. I like to have those green bars go over about 3/4 of the way. That gets a good recording level. Okay, so yeah, and once we're all set, then you can come in here and there's there's a red dot at the bottom, and if you click on the red dot, it'll start recording. And so I made a little recording using this technique that I just showed you, and let's play this, and yeah, you can see exactly how this works. Okay, well, here's the clip, and before I play the clip, what I'd like to do is just point out, and obviously you see this, here's the ebook that I was going to read through and discuss in this video. This is an older video. And here's the video that I shot with my iPhone. Now see how it's rotated and it's turned. And the reason that is because I had it set in a horizontal mode, okay, like a landscape type mode, going lengthwise on my tripod. If I would have set it up and down, it wouldn't be rotated like this, but no matter. So before I play the clip, what I'd like to do is come in and let me just click on the video right here. And I know it's hard to see, but right in here, there's a circle with an X in it and a little grabber bar right here. And I'm going to grab that, and I can twist the video clip. And now I've got the video clip just like this, and it fits in there better. It's a little bit too big, so what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to push my Option key on my Mac and hold it down and grab this grabber bar on the left and squeeze it in, and that lets me crop it, okay? And I can crop it on this side because I don't need all that. I don't even need all of myself there. And then I can put it down in this corner, but I'm also going to grab this and squeeze it down and make it smaller, so I'm down there, something like that. And I think this will work out better. Okay, now once I've done that, let's come back and I'll let this play. And when I let it play, you'll be able to hear, you'll be able to see the three parts: the video recording, the ebook recording, that's a screen recording, and the audio that I picked up on my blue snowball mic. So let's just play this. Everybody reads this section in red because that's vitally important. You have to have, especially if you have a new web hosting account and you've got a new domain, new web hosting account. So that's how it works, and you could hook up any 3 different devices, not the 3 that I used. Or if you've got like an audio interface or something, you could have more microphones, but you can record different things simultaneously, just like I did. Okay? Okay, well, let's talk about recording an iPhone screen in ScreenFlow. Okay? So, to begin with, the way that I do this is I take my iPhone power cord and unplug the USB terminal from the power jack, the part that plugs into the wall. Okay, and then after I do that, I come in, I insert the USB plug into my Mac, into your Mac, and I insert the lightning connector into my iPhone. If you've got an older iPhone with one of the little 3.5 millimeter round jacks, you can plug that into your iPhone, but however, get it plugged into your iPhone. Okay, then just come up to the ScreenFlow menu at the top and go to New. Click the File in the ScreenFlow menu and then New. Okay, and then once you do that, this page will come up. Now this is a little hard to see, so let's zoom in on this a little bit. The only thing that you want to have clicked is if you've got your iPhone plugged into your computer, then make sure the check mark next to record is checked next to the iPhone. That's the only thing you need to have checked in there. That should be the only thing turned on. Okay, and when you're all set, down at the bottom of the screen you'll see a red dot, a red circle inside a bigger dot. And you click on that and you'll get a countdown timer. It'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you'll start recording. And your screen will be recorded whenever is on your iPhone screen. Now ScreenFlow will record both the audio and the video you're getting from your iPhone. They will both be recorded onto your computer. Okay? So once you've done that, then you can come in, and if you hold down the Command Shift 2 buttons simultaneously, that will stop your recording. that will end your recording, okay? And you can save it and go on and edit it or whatever you want to do with it, but that will stop your recording. Now, just to show you, here's a sample screen recording on my iPhone of part of a Creative Commons video that I found on YouTube. So let's just listen to this and you can see what it looks like. You're seeing exactly what got recorded on my iPhone, and the audio is exactly the audio that was going in there. So let's take a listen.
Smaller thumbnail. It's really much easier to see which images have instant impact. Leave a comment below. Which one would you choose? Would you choose 1 or 2 or 3?
There you go. So that's what a screen recording on an iPhone looks like. It's easy to do, very easy to set up, and you get good quality video and audio coming out of it. Okay, good. Okay, so let me show you just a couple, 1 or 2 quickies that I think might be helpful to you. The first one is called removing a background from a video clip. It's kind of like a green screen effect, except there's no green screen involved. Okay, so let me show you what I've got. Right here, this is just a graphic design that I'm not sure if I made this or bought it in a graphics package, but it's just kind of, it looks kind of like clouds, but it's all gray. So I've got this in there. I've got this red background in there. I think I maybe used that before in a clip. And then over here, I have me sitting at a desk. I've disabled the sound in all of these so that I can talk over them. So it's just a short little clip of me talking. And then over here, this is me standing up. And in this one right here, let me get it with my eyes open if I can. I'm just standing up against a white wall. Okay, there's no curtain or screen or anything behind me. I'm standing up against a white wall and just talking. So let's take a look at this. So what I'll do is I'm going to I'll take this red graphic I've got, and I'm going to drop it in and move it right below my image here. Now, when I do that, let me take this image. You can see it's right behind there, and it's right behind this video clip, and you can see it's behind it because it's down below the video clip in my timeline right there. So what I want to do is take out all this white space around me, and the way that I'm going to do that is come over here. Let me move this over a little bit. Let me come over here to where it says Filters and Effect. I've got my video tab clicked up on top. I go to Filters and Effect. You can see that there are no filters or effects down there. So I'll click on the plus sign right here. And now I'm going to come in, and these are all the different filters and effects that I can use. And there's one someplace, if I can find it. Oh, right up here. See where it says Automatic? Now, I am going to click on this where it says Automatic, and it's really Automatic Background Removal. So let me click on this and see what it did. That took out all the white behind there, so that now there's the red. Here's my image of me talking right here, but I've got the green, not the green, I've got the red background behind me. So that's how you could remove a background. This works best with a plain color behind you, with no nothing else. Just, it doesn't have to be white. It could be off-white, gray, whatever color walls you've got in your house, apartment, office, wherever. It works best with a plain color, and a color that's not the same color as your shirt or your hair or anything like that. So just a plain color behind you. That generally works pretty well. So you could do that. Now, you could do the same thing over here. Let me just show you this. I'll do the same thing right here. Drag this other one in. This is that gray background that I had. Okay, and you know, see, that works pretty well. Now, here's the next one. Let me get this back over here where I had it to begin with. And in this second one, this is a clip of me talking again. And again, I'll highlight this clip and automatic background removal. Okay, that's still in there, so I'll click on that. And as you can see, I mentioned earlier this doesn't work particularly well when you've got a bunch of things in the background like I had, because I had that desk and all that other stuff behind me, the posters on the wall, the signs and things. And when I try to use this, you can see it just doesn't get the job done right, okay? There's a thing down here that says amount, but I can never get that to slide. Maybe that would improve it. I don't know if it's my computer or the software or whatever, but this is not something I would use. Now you can try it on your own clips and maybe it'll work better than this, but I have not had good luck with that, okay? And again, if I put the red behind me, see, that's horrible. So again, you can try this, but I don't know that you're going to have very good luck with it. Okay, so just for what it's worth. Okay, that's how that background removal tool works.
Well, for the next few minutes, let's talk about copying and pasting audio and video, audio or video and video, properties and or filters. And let me show you what I mean. Here is a sample of 3 different clips. Now, when I started in this little mini project right here, I had just one clip. It was all one clip going across. But I broke it apart, and that's why you see the gaps in here. And those gaps are places where, let's say, I made a mistake or something happened. And maybe in this first gap right here, maybe I coughed while I was talking. So I would want to take that out. So I just made a cut in the video section and the audio section, and I cut that little, 1 second gap out or whatever. And over here, I've got a little gap where, something happened, the dog barked or something. And so I wanted to get that out of there. And so I cut that out. So that's why there's some gaps in here. And I want the gaps there intentionally so that I can show you something. So I'm going to tell you, we'll play this in just a second, but the audio is terrible. Okay, it's just terrible audio in these clips, and I made it terrible on purpose. I put a big box fan up on my desk in my little home office here, and I turned it on, so I get this very annoying buzz and hum in the background, and that's what we want to work on taking out, at least one of the things. And so we're going to come in and let's play a little bit of each of these clips. The audio is very similar in all these, but let me give you a sample of what this sounds like.
Today I wanted to put together a little video to help you do some things, and what we'll talk about is copy an online video that you find somewhere. Not in many cases, just make a screencast and record something. Here again are our 3 clips that we've got, and I let you listen to the sound. We've heard that the sound is very bad because of the buzz, the hum that's in the background. So a simple thing, and something we've done before, I showed you how to do this before you get into the copying and pasting part, would be just to come in and we could click on one of these and then come down here to where it says remove background noise, okay, and that would take that hum out of there. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to do one. We could highlight all 3 of these WAV files down here, and we could then come up here, take that, let's take that off, and we can remove the background noise from all 3 of these. So let's play this and see how much better that sounds, and then we'll do some cutting and pasting, copying and pasting. Okay, let's listen to this. And today I wanted to put together a little video to help you do some things, and what we'll talk about is copy an online video that you find somewhere. You cannot, in many cases. Well, this is a little different now. We're going to do something. We're going to do some copying and pasting of audio and video properties as well as filters. And here's the idea. If I come back here, remember this has horrible audio right here. Some things, and what we'll talk about today. Okay, and this one is just make a screencast and record also. But suppose that the one in the middle,
because it's easy to...
It doesn't have a buzz. And maybe I've got, 10, 15, 20 different clips in here, and some of them are bad and some aren't bad. Now, I can't just come in here and highlight all of these and then go to remove background noise, because I don't want to remove the background noise from this one because it doesn't have that background noise in it. And if I do that, it's going to move the levels down, things are going to change. So that's just not something I can do. But there's an easy way around this. Okay, let's come in here and click on the very first wave file down here, audio file. Okay, and I did this intentionally. I set my microphone quite a ways away from me so that when I recorded it, I had to boost the volume up quite a bit. And suppose that I don't want to change this too much, but instead of 590%, let's make it 560%. Okay? And so I've changed the volume level in here to try to make it a little bit better. And then suppose that I come down here and it says remove background noise. So I do click on that. And then I take the background noise out of there. Okay? Now, I don't want to play with this one, but I do need to adjust this one because it has the buzz and everything in there. So what we'll do is come back here and click on this first clip that I've corrected and I've made it better. And I'll hit Command C, and that copies this audio file. Then I'll come over here to the third audio file that I've got that I need to correct, and rather than go through and make those changes all over again, and maybe I've got many more clips and have to do this again and again and again, the easiest way to do this is to come up here to where it says, let's see, is it clip? No, it's edit. And I'll come down to paste properties. And I want to paste the audio properties that are on that clip that I just copied. So I've copied those audio properties, and now I'll paste them in here. Now look and see what happens. See, remember, this used to be 590%. I boosted it way up, but now it's 560 because I pasted the properties from this clip into this one. And also, down here, remove the background noise. Okay, that's checked too, because that was one of the properties that was in this file, and I pasted both of those properties into this one. Okay, so now let's come in and see if indeed it did make the recordings better. Let's listen to this first one.
And what we'll talk about today is bypassing the...
Okay, you can see that I got that buzz out of there. I've changed the volume. I ratcheted the volume down a little bit. And this one, of course, was okay.
Video.
And this last one, let's see if we got those pasted in there properly.
To make a screencast and record someone else's.
And you can see when you do this that the properties went in there. Now, if I had 5 or 10 different little clips where I had made some cuts or rearranged clips or done anything like this, it would just be a matter of fix one of your clips, copy it, and then go to the next one that needs to be fixed, and then come in here and go to Edit and Paste Properties, and make sure we're not pasting video properties, we're doing audio properties. Now, with video stuff, you can do the same thing. You can make changes to the properties in a video, like if you changed, the scale, the opacity, if you did some cropping or a drop shadow or color controls or anything, you could change that, and then you could come here and paste, copy it, paste the video properties in here, paste the video properties in here, and very quickly you could end up with all of your clips being exactly the way that you want. Okay?